my name is Claudia and I just graduated with a diploma and I'm currently waiting to go to uni. With COVID-19, I can't help but wonder, what if my career becomes meh? As an aspiring journalist, I thought that I would dig deeper into this topic. To do that, I'm going to go speak with some youth and professionals to find out more. Hello everybody, thank you for joining me on this Zoom call. So I know that most of you are graduating this year, and I was just wondering, how has COVID-19 impacted your view on jobs and careers?
Less jobs being available, the economy being in a bad place. I think that's something like all of us grapple with on a more immediate level.
Spending a few years to try and develop what you think you want in a career, but then at this point where so many industries are affected by what is happening right now, having to adapt to all the big changes, because what used to be maybe a booming industry or what used to be a place of interest now could be just collapsing overnight.
When I'm applying for overseas uni, it's like the anxiety of can I even go to school this year, this September? That's why I'm considering a career switch, but then again, a lot of jobs are on hiring freeze.
The lack of replies from employers. So I'm kind of left a bit floating in the sea. It's like I've applied, but they haven't gotten back to me.
I personally know people who have just landed a new job opportunity right before COVID. And when the whole situation kind of got worse, basically the start of their job got pushed back further and they don't know when they can start. They don't even know whether they'll still have the job.
I kind of wanted to see if I could take a gap year and figure things out, try different jobs, freelancing, or doing things on a contract basis, right? And this whole pandemic has kind of put that into question because of all the uncertainty, right? Is that actually going to be a safe thing for me to do right now, having just come out of NS and without the so-called university qualification?
Previously, I've been searching for answers to address these concerns. If you haven't caught the first video, you can go and check it out. In this episode, I wanted to explore more of what we can do in spite of COVID-19. How might we put ourselves out there in an authentic way? How do we differentiate ourselves from other job seekers? I spoke to some career design specialists. Here's more from them.
So here at my working title, we've got this career design model. We call it the inside out and outside in approach. It starts from understanding who you are, your strengths, your skills, your interests and passions, and how can you match that with the possibilities that are outside. At the same time, you can scan what's outside and see what attracts you. Maybe it will just surface interests and motivations that you never knew you had.
That's right. To build on that, it is important to discover yourself and your story. What are your strengths, your skills, and your interests? What motivates you? And what are your aspirations? If you have the answer to these questions, you'll be better able to look for a job. You can give better answers to job interviews, and when you do find a job, you'll last longer and you'll be able to build a stronger career.
How do we find that sweet spot of what's on the inside with what's on the outside? Let's find out.
My name is Trisha Duran. I'm the head of HR for Unilever in Singapore.
I know I may not look like it, but I have about a decade and a half of work experience.
I'm Joanna Yeo. I'm a strategic HR and talent management practitioner for the last 25 years.
Hi, I'm Padilla. I'm from Generation. We're an international non-profit founded by McKinsey.
You want to put yourself out there and you want to recognize the value you can offer to someone, but at the same time, you don't want it to come across as a fraud.
Once you understand what keeps you on purpose, then that will bring your authentic self to life. So you don't have to worry about going to an interview and making things up or posturing and inventing or memorizing answers, because the reality is that you're on purpose, you understand who you really are and what you can bring to an organization, and therefore you share that. And once you share that, your authentic self shines through, and therefore you have a higher chance to get a job. Many people call this pandemic the Great Pause. And given it's a great pause, isn't it an amazing opportunity to take time and reflect and to take stock of what it is that we really can offer the world and what it is that we can really offer the workplace. So there are many things online that are free, from Harvard readings to Oxford to your local, bookstore, talking about things like purpose. Read up on it or attend a little online workshop to help you understand more.
Definitely just go with facts. So definitely don't exaggerate. Definitely don't give half truths. So stick to the facts. And it helps to just stick with what you've done, right? Stick with what you've done. And you can be honest, you can say, I've done this, but I would like to work on other sort of things. You can put that in as well, right? Aspirations are fine. So this one tip I would say is if you're going for interviews, never ever say this. If you've taken 1 or 2 modules in poly or in university, you've taken 1 or 2 modules, it doesn't mean you know that. It doesn't mean you're a practitioner at all. I don't know how many junior people have come in and said, I took this module and that's why. I'm like, no, you just took a module, right? So that's the flip side, and something you must never ever do. So therefore, you are demonstrating that, yes, I have project management experience. You're not saying you're a professional, but hey, at least you put down that, I have 6 projects over the last 2 years where I directly project managed a team of how many people, right? And then I guess, again, that's what makes things a little bit more simple, is when it's tangible and fact-based.
Well, firstly, I think that's a very understandable feeling. I do, to be honest, feel it myself as well. I think the first thing to be mindful of or remember as you are going about this is that the recruiter or the person that you're talking to literally knows nothing about you except what you write or what you tell them. And I think one thing that I have seen work for myself as well as the applicants that I advise is that make sure that everything that you write in a resume or even say in an interview is actually as objective and as data-backed as possible. What this helps to do is both for yourself, it gives you confidence that you're actually not lying, you are telling the truth, and also not inflating your achievements or even downplaying your achievements. And it also helps you come across more credible to the person that you're speaking to.
How can I stand out in the job search process? Are there any tips?
It's important for you to develop your personal brand, and not just for show. It needs to be real and authentic, right? So take time to try new and interesting things and develop your personality. So if you're ever asked a question, tell me something about yourself, you can say something like, I play a saxophone in a jazz band, or I started a Minecraft channel on YouTube. Instead of, I read, I listen to music, or I have tried every single bubble tea store from Jurong to Pasir Ris, right? So develop a story for yourself that is compelling and be remembered.
If you're a fresh grad and you don't have any actual work experience, you can use the experience that you have through your co-curricular activities. So say, for example, if you ran a marketing campaign that managed to reach out to a few thousand people across Singapore and resulted in a 200 people event, that should be in your CV. Writing that cover letter in a way that is very specific to your own interest in the company and your own interest in that role, and how you have demonstrated that interest maybe in your previous experience or in the ways that you have researched about the company and stuff like that, usually are the things that would make you stand out. I would say for the more cookie cutter standard applications.
There is a big focus on your portfolio, right? Because the interview, fine, we may not get the sort of physical interaction and sense of a person. So hey, then to really make it tangible, a really strong portfolio would make a big difference, because it's very tangible. It's what you've done. It's what you've produced, right? When I say portfolio, then people think, designers, I have, all these creative pieces that I've done, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But hey, portfolio can even be like your deck of slides, like me as an ex-management consultant. Show, the sort of thought and work that I've done. And that is part of my portfolio too. Take the time to be creative. A lot of youths, or even today, right, professionals, they go in for an interview. They feel that the interviewer is dictating what happens. I'm there to, go roll with the punches, see what happens. No. Think about it. An interview is very much dictated by you, the interviewee, because the interviewer asks you one question, you will then decide where the conversation goes, because you will choose what story, what personal experience you bring up in your hands. So therefore, you have to plan well which stories you want to tell, which experiences you really want to share, because you will decide on the direction of the interview. And I hope this mindset flip, gives you a lot more confidence and comfort that, hey, interviews are not so scary, because interviewers, they just want to hear from you, get a feel of you, so you can decide how and where the conversation goes to give them a feel of who you really, really are.
How do I build a strong portfolio?
How can I build up this foundation of a strong portfolio that can make up for perhaps not having a university education.
Ultimately, what I am assessing is not the course you took or the university you went to. I am assessing you as an individual. And if you can demonstrate that you have an ability to learn and you have the right attitude, then I can teach you the skill. A lot of people think that you need to study a certain course and you put so much energy on studying that course. How can companies say you can apply to any job regardless of your course? And then the second is, it took me so hard and long to qualify for this university. How can you say it's irrelevant what university? And we're not saying it's irrelevant. We're not saying the course you studied nor the university you went to is irrelevant. So there's a couple of people I interviewed and I decided to really hire immediately. One was a demonstration of true learning agility. And she's a Chinese lady that actually could not speak any English at all. And she learned English by teaching herself through YouTube. The second one was an employee. He had an idea to create a social selling site for Unilever products and through digital technology allow contactless, hands-free delivery to all our employees, particularly during the pandemic. It's also increasing revenue for the business. And so this social selling site was actually created by an intern who demonstrated such amazing ability to think differently. And if I hire you and you're passionate enough about what I hire you for, then you will learn it and you will really go out of your way to deliver.
That's a lot clearer now. So basically, I need to figure out who I am, what I can do, and find the sweet spot with what's in demand right now. Amid this crisis, I will take the opportunity to try new things outside of my comfort zone, develop my story by finding my purpose, communicate my experiences objectively with data points. You can click on this link for free resources to help you on your career journey. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with your friends. See you next time. Bye!